Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. That's me, Khushi, and today we're going to be doing another concept of JavaScript. So these are objects, and objects are a very, very important topic. So yeah, let's just get into it without any further do's. So here we have the introduction. So they are the containers for storing values. Now variables are also kind of object, but here objects can have many values within it. Like as in a dictionary, we have seen we can have the key value pair. It's almost the same thing here, but we separate them with colons. So here we have a variable person, and this thing has four values stored in it. So this whole thing is an object. Now these values are called as properties. Now, when I print this thing out, it's going to come up something like that. Like if I want it in the table form. Now, these can be accessed in two ways. One of them is object name dot the property name, or you can have it in the bracket and you have the property name. We use the second one when the property name was like a variable earlier. Like for example, if I have a name and that was X initially, like let's say it was X initially, then I am just going to put the value of X in place of this thing in this little quotations. So that's how the second one works. But when I want to come for the first one, you directly write down the name of the property. Like here we had name instead. So I can just write the name. Now this example demonstrates how to access the age of a person. Now here, instead, like let's say I did not give any value to age, and instead of 31, I just had X. Here, instead of this keyword age, I would have just, if I would have just written any age, let's say 31 or 37 or anything, that would be the output, that is going to be the age. So this works in like two cases. Now here we have the length property. Now we know that is len. So course.name.length. That's for the first one, like the first way of accessing it. Now objects are one of the core concepts in JavaScript, which means that this video is very, very important. Now object methods. An object method is a property that contains a function definition. So here we have object name dot the method name. Like if I have the object, let's say age, and I want to do a particular function with it. Let's say if I want to just change the name to something, then I would use some function. Now document dot write with it, which is a method that is gonna actually be this thing. But here document dot write, this whole thing is not a method. Only write and these parentheses come under the method, whereas the document is an object. So this is the object and this is the method. Another example of this thing is the thing called console.log. So when we have this, we have the console dot, sorry, we have the console.log and we have these parentheses. Now here, like if we see, now this log and the parentheses are the method, whereas console is my object. So that's how this thing actually works. Now let's look at the next concept. Here we have the object constructor. So what is this? In the previous session, we created objects using the object literal. So this is how we did that earlier. But this allows us to create a single object. And if you want to set an object type, for example, then we use a constructor function. So we have the function which is person name age color. this comes out as three different objects. So this thing, which is person, name, age, color, this comes out as three different objects. Here in the previous one, as we've seen, we created one thing at one time. Like here, the previous one, as we've seen, there's just one person, and further we define all those things. Here we have defined these things separately as objects. The above function is a constructor which takes the parameters and assigns them to the object properties. Now, this keyword refers to the current object. Note that this is not a variable, it is a keyword and cannot be changed. Now, some things are actually which cannot be changed, like we have variable and a little bit of those values which cannot be changed. Once you have an object constructor, you can use a new keyword to create new objects of the same type. Now, if I have a let me say I have a function where I am I have this object constructor which is, let's say, it's person, and I already have uh, 10 objects in it. Like I have 10 different types of objects in it. I still want to add one more which belongs to the same category. This is important. Which belongs to the same category, then I will be using the new person. Like for example, here we have the new person, which is John, whose age is 42 and he likes the color green. Now in the same way, if I add here uh, now let's say if I add that she has a laptop or she has a phone or something like that, that would not set for this person. Now I would just give it a better example. If I am just this, it shouldn't be one of those odd ones out. If I have like four values which are of the same type, now let's take a very simple example. If I have three values which are something related to household things, like we have some cleaning things and all those, and we have the fourth value which doesn't even belong to the category, then that is not gonna be considered in that because it's out of the type. Now that is the same way with the way it works with these constructors. Now here we have another example. Now here, instead of now name and age here and parameters, I have just given their values. Here, as you can see, I have given their values. The first one, this order, just a second. This order of name and age should be followed every time when I'm giving any value. If I write 25 in place of John and John in place of 25, the whole thing is going to be wrong. Now, if I have a sentence, I am John and I'm 25 years old, that is going to become I am 25 and I'm John years old, which is clearly wrong, right? So we don't do it in that way. So here we have the object name and the property name, and that's how this thing works. Now let's look at the next concept. Now we also use these object literals or initializers syntax to create single objects. Now if I want them to be separately and I don't have those values changing. Like in the previous example, we kept name and age, which are the parameters, separately, and then we started giving it value using the this name thing. But here, when I have a fixed value for those things, now if I am working on some project and in the end I have to write the name of the CEO or of the company or the owner. Now we have an example of Facebook. So we just write down meta by meta. So we don't, that's not something which is changeable. That is going to be there unless the company is going to change it. It's not something which changes from user to user. Like in my Facebook, it is going to be meta. In your Facebook, it's going to be something else. That is going to be constant. It's not going to be changed ever. But for example, if we have the follows of one person, that is going to differ from person to person. Like you might have 7 followers, I might have 6 followers, or something like that. So that's how this thing works. Now, in this method, the values are fixed. They're not going to change at any cost. Unless the programmer who has written the code decides to change it. Unless then, it's not changed. Now, the spaces and line breaks are not important. Any object definition can span into multiple lines. It depends on me if I want to write the whole thing like one line, or if I want to just break down into 4 5 lines. It doesn't matter. No matter how the object is created, the syntax for accessing the properties will be this. I can change the method of defining it, but I can't change the method of accessing it. If I want to get the values, I have to write it in one value in this same order. I can't get it into 7 or 8 lines or 4 or 5 lines. Now let's look at the next concept. Now we learn how to add methods. So this is something important. Now to access an object method, we use this following syntax, and to create, we use this syntax. Now the method is a function belonging to an object, and it can be referenced using the this keyword, as we have already seen. So this is just a recap, I guess. Now the this keyword is used to use as a reference to the current object, meaning that you can access the object's properties and methods using it. And the defining method is done inside the constructor function. Now, here you can see in this example, name and age, which were the only two parameters. Later, I have just defined another method in this, which is this dot change name, and I just use the reference to the function, reference to the parameter I want to change. I want to change the parameter name. So we have, I just refer to that parameter and then I change it. Earlier, let's say the value would be something. Now, let's say instead of name, I would have changing age. How would that look like? Everywhere in place of name, I would have age. This would be age, this would be age, this would be age, and this would be age. Here, let's say the value of age is 27. And next year, like actually, we on our social media accounts have stored our birthday dates, right? Now, current year, my birthday date might be showing 16 or 17 or whatever it is. The next year, it has to be increased by one. It is not going to be decreased, right? So here, this dot age will be equals to age plus plus. Now, plus plus means increment. So age plus plus will become 28. So that is how this is going to work. Now, if I want to even reduce, like, let's say if I have bought, like, if I am just making a grocery checklist and I had 5 kgs of something, then later on, when I've used out 1 kg, I have to reduce that in my list, and then I have age dot minus minus. So that's going to decrease its value by 1. In the same way, if I don't want to do the minus minus plus plus, I can just directly write down it in place of this. Sorry. So that's how this thing works. Now let's look at the next topic. Let's just look at this little paragraph over here. In the example above, we have defined a method which is named as change in name. We're talking about this particular example here, which is for a person, which is a function, and that takes the parameters. It refers to the parameter name and it assigns it the name of the property. Now, the changed name is assigned to it. So yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. If you like the video, just like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and press the notification bell. Thank you. Bye bye.